Bet you didn't see this.
Number 6. What is Exhibit 6?
Exhibit 6 is the bullet fragment, the bullet jacket fragment, as well as some other fragments that were recovered from Mr. Kirk at the time of autopsy.
Thank you. Going back to page 2, will you read the first full paragraph there, beginning with Exhibit 6?
Yes. Exhibit 6 consists of one .30 caliber class deformed damaged bullet jacket fragment and 4 lead fragments.
Will you read the next paragraph as well?
The Exhibit 6A bullet jacket fragment cannot be identified or excluded as having been fired from the Exhibit 1 rifle based on an agreement of all discernible class characteristics and neither sufficient agreement nor sufficient disagreement of individual characteristics. The results of the comparison was inconclusive.
So what you just heard is that in addition to all the other inconsistencies about this case, now we find out that the bullet fragment doesn't actually match Tyler Robinson's gun. But if you can believe it, which I'm sure you can at this point, there's more.
The parties stipulate that investigators at the crime scene observed latent fingerprints and a palm print on a glass window near the area where the individual landed when the individual jumped from the rooftop of the Losi Center at UVU. SBI fingerprint examiner Elisa Farmer examined images of these latent fingerprints and the palm print and determined that only 3 of the latent prints, 11B, 11C, and 11D, were of comparable or of poor comparable value. She excluded Tyler Robinson as the source of any of these 3 latent prints. Ms. Farmer reviewed other prints on the window and found that they did not have adequate value for comparison. Subsequent examinations of these 3 actual latent prints by the FBI were inconclusive. That area that was described in that stipulation, is that the area in the glass window that you're talking about?
Yes, that is.
That's on the northeast corner of the Losi Center?
Yes.
And that's the area where we see in a video an individual drop from the roof?
Yes.
So the fingerprints that were left on the window of the building where he supposedly jumped off, right? Those weren't his either. So far, this is what we've gathered with this hearing. There's no video proof or evidence of Tyler Robinson actually taking the shot. The bullet casing didn't belong to his gun. And now the fingerprint that was left on the window of the building that he supposedly jumped off wasn't his. This case is completely falling apart, and the Tyler Robinson narrative is being torn apart. And that's why I believe, well, let's get to the next part first, and then I'll tell you what I believe is going to happen. Because the next part's really interesting too. Our good friends in Izzy come back up. Weird, right? Again, it's not all of them, but it's always them.
As part of the investigation, was a Cellbrite extraction performed on Mr. Twiggs' phone?
Yes, it was.
Did you personally review that extraction?
Yes, I have.
And according to that extraction, did Mr. Robinson and Mr. Twiggs exchange text messages on September 10th through 11th, 2025?
Yes, they did.
What time was that first text sent according to the Cellbrite extraction?
The first text was September 10th at 11 p.m.
So they used a company called Celebrite to be able to do an extraction from Lance Twiggs' phone. So who is Celebrite? Well, it's an Israeli digital forensics company that's headquartered in Israel, of course. Totally not weird at all. Especially considering that Utah is actually home to the largest forensics computer lab in literally the entire Western United States. So why would they use a foreign company? Why would they use one in Israel? Why would they use an Israeli forensics company to extract from Lance Twiggs' phone? Just questions. Something else came out today, though, that's pretty freaking interesting. As many of you know, but many of you may not know, Brian Harpole is suing Candace Owens. Oh, and by the way, his lawyer, same lawyer that was used by the Daily Wire to sue Candace Owens before, staunch Zionist and has been in multiple cases when it comes to defending Jewish interests. Of course. But anyway, Stu Peters dropped this one. Read this with me. An entire federal district bench Every district judge and every magistrate judge from the Middle District of Tennessee just recused themselves from Brian Harpole's defamation lawsuit against Candace Owens and Mitch Snow without stating a reason. Anybody out there want to explain that one? Why would an entire federal district bench, all the judges, all the magistrates, recuse themselves from a defamation lawsuit? I'll tell you what though, in addition to all of this, until somebody can explain this sequence of events to me without saying it's just a coincidence, I will never believe the official narrative of this assassination, ever.
It's 5. Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm gonna give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
You cannot tell me that each and every single one of these hand signals were not in perfect unison right before Charlie was shot. In any other situation, if somebody observed these men making those signals one after the other, back to back, followed by something like a gunshot or followed by anything, you would consider it to be signs. So anyway, back to what I said in the beginning about what I think is going to happen. I think that because Tyler Robinson's, this whole thing with Tyler Robinson is being absolutely torn apart, I think what they're trying to do, and this also explains why Andrew Colvett got on TikTok and said what he said about Lance Twiggs and why all this commotion about Lance Twiggs. I think they're trying to flip the narrative to Lance Twiggs. But hey, I'm just a conspiracy theorist.